welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that TForce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pony ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pon Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. Please ignore the overlay as I fix it. Days decided that she wanted to join at the very, very last minute.
As usual.
As usual. So I am going to move people around here. Guys, we are joined by Days Untold, Punchinello, Horse Doctor, and DeClaude. Say hello, everybody.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, everybody. So, guys, so as if you don't know, we are going to the allmid.gg collegiate tournament in Cincinnati, Ohio on October 3rd. Please, if you haven't already, head over to allmid.gg and sign up on the registration page. It is $20 to enter, and you will have to pay to get into that event. However, going into the event automatically gives you a swag bag, and you get access to all the free tournaments you can sign up for. There's a League of Legends, Hearthstone tournament, etc. Again, Cincinnati, Ohio, we'd really want to see you guys there. We really want to, you'll be able to meet Horse Doctor, you'll be able to hopefully meet Punch, you'll meet Chira, you'll meet Lashak, you'll meet me, you'll meet Wrecker, and a couple other people from the TForce RPG group will be there as well. I'm going to keep announcing that every single podcast up until the event. But we are going to have the people from allmid.gg on next Wednesday for a special interview. We're going to be talking community and how to build a community, what it's like to have a community, why you want to build one, and anything that you guys want to know about just community and games and whatnot. We're going to talk about that with the allmid.gg people. Last announcement for this week is that next Saturday, I believe that is the 19th, sorry. The 19th, we will be doing a live stream, the Four Wards guys are doing a live stream to help raise some money for Doom's charity. He's doing a run to help get water for people over in Africa, and they will be doing a drunken stream where they're going to play Cards Against Humanity and League of Legends and all this other stuff. So guys, tune in around 7 o'clock on the 19th of September to take a part in that. Last and not least, don't forget to go check out the Four Wards guys. They are helping you out to get better at this game. They are going to be an extension of what we normally do this next week, and that's they are going to do like a pre-patch note rundown. I think that's either this week or next week, where they kind of give you the tools to better understand how we go over patch notes and why we go over patch notes and what we look for when we're doing the patch note rundown, so you guys have a better understanding of how to read them yourselves. Very
cool. They're very entertaining. I listen to their podcasts, and it's very entertaining, so go check it out.
Right. Yes. And check that out, guys. Go check out the LCS Rundown. Please check out the Ozaloa podcast and our new podcast, the Hearthstone Hearth of the Cards podcast, with Horse Doctor leading the way. Valm, Alex, and Chris Alfanar have joined in that as well. So, guys, you can check that out at hearthofthecards.com or on iTunes at Hearth of the Cards. That is it for announcements for this week, guys. Thank you so much for your Patreon donations as well, as the month of October has just concluded and we are moving into September. So if you want to get to that, patreon.com/TForce Network. What we're going to talk about is hopefully something that has helped you through Patreon and others, and that's how to finish out this season as it comes to a close. So around the middle of October, they're going to more than likely announce the end of the season. Last year it was November 14th the season ended, and you have about 2 months left to get your final rank, and we want to give you some tips and tricks and whatever it may be to reach that final ranking that you've been pushing for. Because all year long, what we do is we give you information to digest to get better at this game, so that you gain elo. Like, that should be the byproduct of everything we're giving you. You're gaining a little bit of elo. We want to give you that final push to make it to that goal, whether it be Silver 5, Diamond 5, or Masters, whatever. We're going to try to give you that little push to make it to that that final place. So.
And every year, like right when they announce the end of season, we get all the questions on how do I rank? Like, I have ranked anxiety. How do I clock? Yeah. And at that point, it's almost too late. And usually they're starting to announce either preseason stuff or patches, and we never got around to it. So this year we figured we'd do it a little bit early, so you guys have plenty of time to kind of grind out whatever it is and whatever rewards you're looking for.
Yep. Eat and digest our words, and then shit elo. That's what you're supposed to do.
I think I tweeted the best the best the best tip to gaining diamond the other day, and that's just watch enemy vision, play around it, your diamond. GG.
Done.
So easy.
GG.
No, that actually came from
that.
another game I played with Horse. I played a game with Horse earlier this week, and he was just laughing about how he was watching what the enemy was dropping down, and then he'd play around it. And I was like, that's actually a really good tip. I'm going to tweet that out. Because I thought that was really funny.
I just become hell-bent on killing the wards. That's my problem. It's like, I know there's a ward there. I need to fucking kill it right now.
Yeah, I did that in a rank game the other day. Someone dropped a pink ward in the tri-bush of blue side, and I, for the life of me, wanted to kill that, so I was playing support. I wanted to kill it so bad. I just kept walking to it. I never died, but I just kept walking to it, and they would walk over to it. I'm like, let me kill your ward!
Yep.
Ward baiting is a real thing. It's a thing.
It is.
When I play support, like, killing a ward is the equivalent of killing a hero for me. I really want to kill that ward.
Yes.
Yeah, that 30 gold.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of them dropping down a ward and immediately sweeping and killing it and be like, ha.
Yeah.
Take that.
Thanks for the 15 gold, you son of a bitch.
Right.
All right, well, let's talk about this, because I know Daze and I are pushing really hard at the end of the season. I think Punch might push hard at some point.
We'll see. I make no promises.
He's just kind of like...
I'm day-to-day.
He's very, very laissez-faire about the whole rank climb thing. And we're trying. So I know Daze and I are trying to push very hard because we want to get in the diamond, and we are talking to a lot of people and trying to get as much information as we can. And we want to relay some of that information to you. And I'm actually, Daze, I'm going to put you on the spot here and kind of talk about some of that mentality and whatnot, because you were the original person to bring this idea up to me. So I'd like it if you could start that conversation.
I'm not even sure where to start with it because there's so many different aspects. I think the biggest thing for everyone to do, end of season is 2 months away. If you're a gold and your goal is a diamond, you're probably not going to hit it, and that's just going to frustrate you along the way. Sorry, I don't mean to be that person, but you're not going to get it most likely, unless you haven't been playing all season and you're going to start doing it like Punch. But if you've been playing a lot and you have a lot of games under your belt, you have 200, 300, 400 games, and you've been stuck at pretty much the same elo, then maybe you need to make your goal a little bit more realistic, because the worst thing to progress is setting a goal that you're not going to be capable of hitting. So you need to be setting like small goals in like each individual game, and then maybe an overall goal of maybe hitting plat or something a little bit more manageable, because all you're going to do is get frustrated and get upset every time you lose the game, because then you're going to start doing the math and be like, oh, I lost a game, that means I have to win 2 to get back to where I was. And like, it's just a huge mentality breaker if you're just counting your LP.
I did that earlier this week. But I won. Okay, I won 5 in a row, but I did the math. I was at my first win, and I had 4 more to go. I was like, I gotta win 1 more to make it into promos, and then I'll probably lose 1, and then I ended up winning them all anyway.
Stop mathing.
Right. No, it was the very first time I typed it in Slack chat.
I'm at it all the time.
I stopped looking at LP gains and losses. I think a really important mindset for this time of year, and it's really weird to think about, is just not to stress, which is, again, weird because this is crunch time. This is when you want to hit your goal. But if you start mathing and you start, every time you lose, you go, oh, no, I gotta win X amount of more games. You're just gonna stress. You're gonna make it harder on yourself. Yeah, and that's happened to me. Way back in season 2, I was trying to hit gold. Gold is my goal, and I got within 1 freaking game of gold, and I lost 10 in a row and never made it back.
Oh, that
stressed so hard.
I know so many people who have done that, and it's really hard not to, because
the game tries to do that.
It's hard. And all season we told you, act like there's no time, and then all of a sudden, right, it goes, okay, now there's a time limit.
Right.
And everybody's reaction is going to be like, oh crap, now I have to focus. Now I have to do it. So if you focus on things like set a couple goals in game, like make sure you swap out your trinket at the right time, make sure you're sweeping forwards, make sure you're positioning well. Like if you set a couple goals, then that helps you stay focused, but focus on the right thing. Because if you're focused on your LP, like the best thing that Riot ever did for me was to put that mastery thing, because it blocked your LP. Your LP gains used to be huge, and now they're like really tiny. So unless I'm trying to look for them, I don't see them. But every time I get either close to promos or something of that nature, then I start checking my LP, and I'm like, oh, and then I start getting back off track. So.
Yeah, don't be Vel'Koz's butthole. Don't overanalyze. You don't want to do that.
Oh my
God. I wanted to say another reason not to stress about losing too much is so let's say you fall down a division, right? It's really not the end of the world. I've watched days go through all divisions of Platinum this season, up and down. Like tomorrow she could be Plat 1, and then the day after she'll be Plat 5.
I've been in Diamond promos 5 times in the past 3 weeks, and I've fallen all the way back down to Plat 3 and then come all the way back up to Diamond promos again. Right. So you just have to ignore it, because even this weekend, like I lost them, and then I lost like 6 more and fell into Plat 2, and now I'm back into Plat 1. So if you let those promos, like losing those promos, affect you too much...
I was gonna say, she got to Plat 2 and now she's back in Plat 1. She wasn't like the rest of us where they were in their promos to Plat 2 and all the way to the bottom of Plat 4.
I've done that. I went from my Diamond promos to Plat 3 a couple weeks ago and then had to climb back up. So it happens.
You need to be like a yellow tank top and just get back on the horse and keep going.
Okay, that was a good one. For those of you listening to the podcast, Horse is wearing a yellow tank top tonight.
Yep.
Horse, speaking from your experience working, I know you pushed very hard through Diamond this season into Masters, and I think you did your Masters, you did it twice. You failed your first promos and had to do it again. What was the mentality like for you when you were I don't want to say you tried to put a deadline on yourself, but in a way you did, because you knew you had school starting up. So in a way that was your end of the season. What was your mentality like? How did you approach trying to get to your goal?
So first of all, I started early, and I kind of ruined my MMR because I was scurrying around. And eventually I hit like the point, or you guys are kind of hitting now, where I had about 2 months before school and research and stuff like that started. And I just kind of sit down and just play and don't worry about it. I guess I'm going to go on a small tangent here, because this is what happened to me when I started playing. It might be happening with a lot of you guys. So I installed League of Legends. I hit 30 after a few months. I hit gold within a couple months of playing, and got stuck in gold 1 for like 300 games or 200 games, a really, really long time. And I kind of asked my brother, who was Diamond 1 at the time, or Challenger, it's somewhere in between there. And I was like, all right, how do I get Platinum? And he asked me, eventually, what is your goal? And I was like, I'd like to be Diamond 1, because I was Masters in StarCraft. I've always been pretty good at games. And he said, like, is you getting Plat 5, is that going to help you get Diamond 1? He's like, no, you've already played 300 or 400 games. You winning 2 games isn't going to make you any better. So I kind of get to the point where you just have to get better, and eventually it happens. And you have to get into each game and say, I need to get better, I need to get better, I need to get better, and then it just happens. Don't worry about the games. Don't worry about the LP. Just focus on what you're doing, and just, I need to get better. What do I need to do to get better? Not what my teammates did wrong that game. What do I need to do to get better? And then you get better, and then it just happens.
Yeah, something that I like that a lot, because recently I had to knock the rust off, because I'm at that crunch time where I'm trying to push hard here again. I'm actually finding time to be able to play the game. And something that I had to tell myself was, what can I do to get better? And I recognized that I would not leave, if I played support, I would not leave lane, pretty much. I would hardly leave lane to ward. I would hardly leave lane to roam. Even though I'm sitting out here preaching it to you guys, I was having a hard time putting it into practice. And when I recognized that was my problem, next thing I know, I've won 5 games in a row, because my AD carry is stuck under the tower. I don't need to be there getting those levels if I know we can't win a power spike. I know our level 6 power spike isn't as powerful as ours. I can roam and try to find and help my jungler out if he's walking somewhere. I can roam and try to, do whatever it may need to be that my team needs at that certain point in time. And that helped me quite a bit, was to sit down and go, what am I bad at? And that was the one thing. Now, I'm not saying that's the end-all be-all. I have a lot of other issues that I need to continue to work on, and I'm trying to pick out. But that's some really solid advice. Try to pick out that one piece that you're having the hardest time in the game, or something that might be easy for you to fix, which could give you that extra rank, or could make you feel better. And if you feel better and your attitude is right, elo might come with it as well.
Well, just like I'm going to explain this and kind of relate it to school, because a lot of people know school. And one of the most interesting things to me is I talk to a lot of people who are successful professionals or good students and stuff, and they're not applying a lot of those habits to League of Legends. So imagine you take a test and you don't do that well on the test. So between test 1 and test 2, if you spend that entire time thinking like how shitty the teacher is, and I failed this test because the teacher is such a shitty teacher, and my classmates suck, and the lesson plan's a joke, like you're probably gonna fail test 2 too. But like if you spend that whole time working and being proactive and getting ready for test 2, you'll do good at test 2. And it's kind of like if you're grinding games and you're spamming games, you have about 5 minutes between each game to actually think about what you're doing. And to improve an elo a lot, at some point you do need to play more games. And if you spend that 5 minutes perseverating about how your team's bad, how you're getting so unlucky and blah, 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 you're not getting better, and somebody out there is thinking about how to beat you. But you're thinking about how bad your team is, and like that's not good.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Another thing is sometimes like what Horse said is really important. Like you have to play games to get better at the game. If you can only play 4 games a week, you're going to have a really hard time climbing, and you're going to have a hard time getting better at the game because you're essentially relearning everything you haven't done in the past week. But there are times that you just need to walk away from the game, whether it be after a bad game, you need to go for a run or take a shower, or if it's something like you just had you lost a series and you need to take a couple days off and do something else that's going to get your mind off it, relax you, because the most calm person in the world is going to sometimes get frustrated. Even if you get frustrated with the other people on your team or with the game or blame Riot for something, Devour, some shit like that. You just need to take a break and then come back and look at it like with a clean mind and just very calmly and all about you again. And it will help you refocus.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a couple days. It could, like if this is cram time, you have a narrow window of time that you can actually play between work and life and what else. Taking those breaks is important. You know, just go watch an episode of something. You know, grab something to eat real quick. You know, refresh, talk to a buddy, vent over the phone, and then come back and try again.
And because it's crunch time, you actually want to maximize your chance of success in those games. Like you want each game to count that much more importantly. If I lose a game, oftentimes I'll get frustrated and I want to jump right back into the next game to redeem myself. That's not always the best idea. You know, the 5-minute break it works wonders for me.
What I usually do during the summer, especially when I'm doing my training for cross country, is if I'm running once or twice a day, I try and schedule, and I have some free time. Let's say 3 or 4 hours of free time that day, and I'm running twice that day. I'll try and do my solo queue in the morning for that free time, since my schedule is kind of malleable of when I do stuff. And then I'll go for a run, and it actually it gives me a break, and it lets me think about things. And after the game, it's very easy to just be frustrated. But once you calm down, you'll kind of focus on the things you actually did. And something else. What? Yeah. And something else that's helpful is like people perseverate. When something bad happens in your life, I guess I don't want to compare grinding to somebody breaking up with you, but something bad happens, you focus on it, you perseverate, and you think about it a lot. And your brain will just continue to think about it and think about it and think about it. But if you write it on paper or talk to somebody, not only are you getting a release, you kind of notice like, all right, I've been writing 3 pages. Like I'm talking about this way too much. I'm too frustrated. Or if you're talking to someone, they're like, all right, this has been a couple of days. Like, you know what I mean?
No, there's some science to that, because people tend to romanticize the good and dwell on the bad. If you're going to use relationships for an example, hey, Dr. Laura, the podcast, here we go. That a lot of people, if they break up with somebody, will romanticize all the good times of what happened, and they will, they will also harp really hard on the bad things that happened. So, and it's easier to focus on the negative things than it is to make the good things the best part about whatever you just went through. Again, relationship, whatever it is. So if you're in the game, you had an awesome double kill at level 2, but at 30 minutes there was an ace followed by a second ace. What are you going to remember more? You're going to remember that double ace that ended up losing the game rather than that awesome play you made for the double kill early in the game. So what we're telling you to do is when you jump into a game, make sure that you remember all the good things that you did and then try to compound on those to make them to make it so that those bad things don't happen. And don't focus on the bad plays, and instead look at the bad play and think, what could I have done differently here? And then focus on what you could have done differently. Okay, I could have sidestepped this. I could have pressed Q a second earlier. I could have flashed. I could have used McHale's. I could have used my actives. Actives is probably a big one for a lot of people. Is I could have pressed Randuin's and the guy wouldn't have gotten out of range, and Jinx could have landed his final rocket. Right? If you start focusing on those little things, those are going to naturally come because you are going to be conscious of those the next game you go into, and suddenly you're going to find yourself with plus 17 elo because you remembered to hit that Randuin's Omen. So little pieces that allow you to go further in this game will gain elo for you and make it so that you get to that desired rank that you'd like. I just would hate to have people email us and say, I listened to all of your advice and I'm still silver 4 and I was trying to make silver 3. You know, there is no magic elo gaining pill. There are only little tips and tricks that we can do to make you better at this game.
And I like how you bring up little things like that, you know, just analyzing little things and recognizing actives, for example. You're giving a lot of specific points. Maybe you can think of those, but if you just, at the end of the game, you're like, what went wrong? And all you're thinking about is a teammate that fed or someone that got picked off, and that's what, you know, through it. You're focusing on the negative and you're not focusing on what you can improve. You're just saying, okay, I hope my luck's better next time. And you're rolling the dice. To improve your chances, maybe you could just focus on one thing as a general thing. Just say, okay, work on my actives. Yeah, I need to use my active abilities. Even though you could pick it apart, yeah, my random is this, that. That's what caused these things to happen. But if it drives you nuts and starts stressing you out because you're focusing on what happened negatively, I like how Adam brings up, think about the positive thing. Like, hey, I did a good play here. I got a double kill. I did remember to use my actives, so that's got to reinforce that I have to use my active items, and then maybe I'll do better this next game. You know, concentrate on my CS a little bit here because I was lacking. I was below my opponent at the end of the game.
If you guys aren't already, go sign up for replay.gg. Have that sent to a Gmail account, and then set up a filter to have it automatically skip your inbox. Now, I tell you to do it this way because if you're like me, you have your Gmail account on your phone, and you don't want your phone to go off every time you play a game. Because I had that happen. I played like 11 games in a day, and my phone would go ting, ting, ting. But at that point, you have a replay of every single game you've played. And if you're anything like me, you'll ask a question. I think I asked a question the other day. Did my Lucian actually mesh with me in lane, and I was playing poorly, or was he playing poorly? You know, like I asked myself a question, basically, why did that lane go that way, and was it what I thought at the time of the game? If you could pick out one of 11 games you played in the day and at least answer that, you might learn something that'll help you for the next gaming session. Just go and look at that one piece. Even if it's 30 seconds of you looking at it, it might help you move on. Now, I'm an advocate of you going back and looking at a couple of your poor games in the day and trying to figure out what went wrong and trying to ask yourself, like we've previously mentioned, but baby steps toward that goal. Go pull up your 30-second game replay, kind of watch lane, kind of skip around, and try to figure out where can I answer this question and how can I answer this question, or what is the answer to this question is the answer.
Someone was specking
replay. What's the site again?
Replay.gg.
And you just go to the site and you can set it up there.
You have to rename one of your rune pages replay.gg.
It tells you how to do it?
Yeah, but just go and rename. I think you rename rune page number 20 to replay.gg. It might be any rune page. And then you type your summoner name in there. It checks to make sure that you renamed your rune page. You put an email address in, and it automatically sends you a replay to your email every time you're finished a game. There you
go, guys. That's how you do it.
I had someone that was speccing one of my games the other day. It was in my Diamond promos, and he messaged me after the game, and he was like, he's, I think, Plat 3 or Plat 4, like around the same elo as me. And he goes, every time I watch a game that's under Diamond 1 elo, I feel like I'm watching a Bronze game. And I laughed because it's really funny, because when we're in the heat of the moment and you're playing a game at whatever level you're at, you're pretty sure that you're making decent decisions. You're pretty sure that, like, you're not making a ton of mistakes. Like, if you make something huge, then you're like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. But, like, at the time, you think that you're playing pretty well. And I don't know anyone else that's ever watched the replays, but I guarantee if you go back and watch it, you'll be like, what the hell was I thinking? At least if you watch it, like, the next day. If you watch it, like, 5 minutes later, you'll probably justify it. But there have been times where I've watched my replays and been like, oh my god, I hope no one was watching. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, we need a replay of Punch, his face just saying, no, don't do that, for when you want to really cue again really quick after you just lost the game.
Punch?
Stop. Take a break.
That's what I do. It's my mistake. As soon as I lose, I go back into the game.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to get 20 kills next game.
Right.
I'm gonna catch that one extra Draven Axe, and then I'm gonna get that kill, and I'm gonna get 800 gold.
Just catch that one Draven Axe.
Write a script that plays that video after every game that you play. It just pops up in the front of your client. No, take a break. Wait, don't hit replay.
Here's what you do. After you lose a game, you're going to go online, you're going to go to one of those poster sites, and you're going to make a poster. And it's going to be Draven, and it's going to say no mercy for the weak. And anytime you lose a game, I want you to put this poster on the wall behind your computer and just turn on the loudest metal you have and queue up for another game.
That'll motivate you back.
Genius. I don't have a wall though, Horse. What do I do? There's blank space. There's lots
monitor. Remember how 4 Words tells you to put something on your monitor, like a picture of an attractive girl to look at your mini map? I just want something to make you as angry as possible.
If I have a picture,
the
poster to your monitor.
I want to see this happen. Like, I want Punch to stream with this going on, because I would love to see Punch angry. I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine that either.
Okay, the best thing about Punch is when you get, like, a few drinks into him. I don't know how many. I was going to say maybe 3 or 4, but I actually don't know how many drinks Punch takes. But when you get some drinks into this guy, he won't shut up. Like... He doesn't really talk much on the podcast, right? Like, he comes in, he gets you a little piece of knowledge, you move on. But this dude does not shut up when we get him, like, 3 or 4 drinks in him and we play some games. I think I can remember playing a Caitlyn game with this guy where, like, he was, like, barking orders. Go here! Go there! We're doing bottom tower! Engage now! And I'm like, what? Who am I playing with?
That's
there needs to be a drinking requirement before the cast from now on.
Starting that's what I've always said. After 2 drinks, I play my best LOL.
Starting in January when Days can drink.
That's when I try hard.
I think what I took from that is after a couple of drinks, your shot calling improves drastically.
Yes.
So everybody get out there and drink alcohol no matter what your drinking age.
That's how you get better. That's how you're going to get your goal.
We here at the Trinity Force podcast do not condone underage drinking. Anything you may have heard of this. I got to throw the announcer voice on for a quick second. Listen, speaking of beer, I'm out of that. And we still have more. We still have 30 minutes more of show to talk about. So, which one are you going to give me a beer?
I got some rum.
Punch is the closest to you.
I texted the girlfriend about a half an hour ago. I got no reply. All right.
You text her to bring you a beer?
Yeah. I want me to prove it? I can prove it right here. I said, can you bring me a Coors 8:18 p.m.? I know. Oh, come on. It's podcast gold, guys. All right. Let's continue to talk about continue to talk about ranked and what you can do to finish your ranking. So, let's move on from a different perspective. Well, actually, I got 2 topics here. 1, how do you make time to play? 2, what happens if you don't feel like you can make your end of season goal? What should you focus on going into the preseason for your next year? Do we continue to set goals of I want that 5 rank, or do I now set goals of I want to get better in the preseason at this and this and this, and then it's naturally that the 5 rank is naturally going to come? I'm a proponent of the latter, but I want to hear what everyone else's opinion is of that.
Are we covering the time or the what happens if you don't? Which one?
I think it's kind of a both. I mean, start wherever you like, and we can move in from there.
I think you should get used to the meta that it is now, because it's never going to change in the preseason. So make sure that you are fully versed on this current meta and are not willing to change. So that way you master this meta, and then when it changes, you'll be screwed. So make sure you are adaptable.
Yeah, because it will change in the preseason. There.
Sorry, tried to be serious, but I couldn't hold it out.
I kind of
you got to be adaptable.
I kind of do the opposite during preseason. Like, I start practicing champs that I don't know very well. I start experimenting with different things because it'll help you get better at the game in general. And it's like my time, because I pretty much only play ranked because I feel like that's where I learn the most. That's where I'm going to get the most out of it. People are playing their main roles usually and their main champions. People are tryharding. So even in preseason, I tend to just play... I play things that will help me get better. Because even if you're playing ranked in the preseason, it doesn't affect your ranking at all. And when they reset everything, essentially, if you lose a game, you're only losing half the LP or the MMR that you would have in the preseason before in the regular season because of the way that they reset everything at the end of the season.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's
divide by 2.
Yeah, they add 1,200 divide in half. Is that right, Horse?
It's 1,200 plus current divided by 2.
Right. So if you think about it, if you lose a game, you have a little bit more room for errors. If you lose a game, then you have an opportunity to learn from it in a competitive situation without actually hurting your MMR too much. So that's what I tend to do when preseason comes around.
First of all, that's not beer.
People play differently in normals.
Thanks, Punch. Wait, this isn't beer? Everybody meet
Is that
pretty sure it's not beer?
Is that his name? Beer?
That's Midna. From the Twilight Princess. No, she's down here.
Like Best Midna?
Yeah, like Princess Midna. I gotta hold on to her though because she's down
Best
here.
Midna.
Downstairs. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
I wanted to bring up that I think it's important to take time in preseason to de-stress and, like Dave said, experiment and have fun, because you just got done tryharding, supposedly, for the last 2 months to hit your goal. So, I mean, maybe in my case not.
Unless you're Punch.
We'll see. But yeah, you want to go back to having fun with the game, trying new things, just having fun with the plethora of preseason changes that Riot's going to throw in, and see what how they want to try and take the game. Try new strats, see what works, have fun doing it, and just enjoy it. And then you can worry about setting your goal at the start of next season, unless you get bored with having fun and you want to go back to tryharding sooner. In which case, I can't really stop you. So
I try to have fun while climbing. When I was playing,
that's the best way.
You have fun.
That is the best way to do it. If you're having fun, chances are the karmic gods will grant you better luck if that's what you're focused on. But you need to also play better and improve what you're doing. And I'm thinking about what Dave said, because I would go to normals to practice things, then come to ranked, but it's a different environment. People play differently there, so you practice as you train as you fight as you train is what we learned in the Army, and that's the way to do it. Just jump in ranked. The LP will come and go, but it'll be where it should be.
That's honestly the best way to get rid of ranked anxiety, is just go play ranked and stop worrying about your LP. Yeah. It's a really hard time to do it because it's end of season and everyone has their goals, but you're going to learn more in ranked, and it's just, you get over that rank anxiety. I don't know anyone, I wasn't a part of TForce when I first started playing, but I had serious rank anxiety. Like, I would get nervous. I would, my heart would start racing before I queued up for a game. And I would get really emotional if I lost a game. It was kind of bad. But now, I only play ranked, and I play a lot of ranked. And Horse, a couple weeks ago, was like, you have the least rank anxiety of anyone I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, I didn't used to be that way. That's all I play. So it's no longer a big deal. And I still have some problems in promos where I'll freak myself out. And unfortunately, Riot hasn't gotten rid of that damn, congratulations, you've qualified for a series. So I can't just ignore it. But that's the next thing I need Riot to do for me. But yeah, you just have to play it. If you want to get over the ranked anxiety, the best thing you can do is play. It's like some of those other fears that, I had an ex who was afraid of spiders, and he got over it by getting a pet tarantula. You just kind of have to deal with it.
Because she was clearing out my garden yesterday, and she had a spider web on her. She runs at me. I'm mowing the lawn. She runs at me. I'm on the lawnmower. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, is there a spider on me? Is there a spider on me?
My roommate asked me if he could get a tarantula, and what I told him was, if I come home and you've got a pet tarantula, I'm moving.
Well, that's an easy way to get you out.
Yeah, it's not hard.
I used to be afraid of spiders and snakes when I was a kid. I moved to Maine, and there's no poison spiders or snakes, and it's just like, oh god.
Oh, there you go. That's the other way.
Black widows here.
It just moved to Maine.
Yeah, you got black widows. I got brown recluses that are probably that walk around my basement. Where am I? My basement.
I think some eastern diamondbacks make their habitat in Maine.
Brown recluse once in a while in southern Maine in the leaves, but up where I am, there's nothing.
Too cold.
Now I feel like there's a lot of reasons rolling on me.
Okay. Yeah, I know we're talking about spiders. I think we just like scared like probably 10 of our listeners away talking about spiders.
So Dace makes a good point, and the preseason's a good time to learn champions. And a lot of people come to me in advice and lessons, and one of the big questions they ask me is, what champion should I be playing? And usually the answer, especially if you have a month or two left, is the champions you're already playing. If you want like a harsh example of this, go to champion.gg and look up the champion that you're playing and look at the win rate by number of ranked games played. And then look up the champion you think you're going to learn in a month and look at the win rate by number of ranked games played. And my best advice to you is just like stick to your guns and just improve them.
Wait. Do you say go to op.gg? Let's see what I
have. Champion.gg, my bad.
Oh, wait, and look up the one that you have been playing. Can you look up yourself on Champion?
No. Just look up, like if you look up Nautilus, it shows you the average win rate per number of games played on the Champion.
Win rate by patch
So essentially, how long it takes you to get decent at a Champion.
125 games for Darius.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's a good point. It takes a long time to learn champions. It's not nearly as easy as just, jumping in and going, I'm going to spam Soraka, and even though I'm a top main, and hope that it carries me to Diamond.
Soraka's broken. It doesn't count.
I was trying to goad Adam into saying something, but he ignored me.
I'm playing Braum now. I moved on.
I don't like
Soraka, who's that?
I find the next OP champion that I can play. No, he fits more of my playstyle than Soraka does, but Soraka is OP as hell, so.
He's tanky, so you don't randomly die in lane.
Exactly! And I can block a ton of damage, so if I get caught out, I just press E, and I can survive a little longer.
The other thing, guys, I have people ask me, and I know people ask the Cloud all the time, is like, how do you have a family and kids and still find time for ranked? Like, he is a newborn. I think she's, what, like 6, 7 months old now?
My child, Sindra? Oh, you're way off. She's over a year old.
Oh, is she a year now?
She had her birthday August, yeah.
You missed that podcast.
I did. I'm so sorry.
Shame on you.
That's okay. But yeah, it's tough.
But it's not easy. We both have full-time jobs. He has a 1-year-old. I have a 7 and 8-year-old and one on the way. You have to make time. You have to decide, is League going to be a priority in your life if you really want to climb? And I know that sounds silly about a game, but for a lot of us out there, it's not just a game anymore. Like, we put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into it. We learn it. Essentially, it becomes like people who go out and play like sports and things like that. Like, we put time into training and into playing and into winning and things like that. And you don't want that time to be wasted. So if you want to get to a certain level, you have to make it a priority in your life, and you have to schedule, especially if you're like really busy. And I know DeClaude does it and I do it. Just say, okay, like for me, the kids go to bed now they go to bed at 9 because they have football. But okay, so from 9 to 11 every night, I'm going to play, and that's only 2 hours a day, but I'm going to play. And then on the weekends, I'm going to do stuff with them, but I'm going to block off these 3 hours, and then I'm going to have that. And it's not an easy thing to do, to make something like that a priority, or make yourself a priority. And I think Adam's going through it now too, because now he just kind of had like an instant family. Like,
I just added water.
Yeah, exactly.
Family right there.
So, but it's important if you have kids. Like, people ask about kids all the time. It's important that your kids learn that it's okay to have priority. It's okay to have hobbies, that even your parents need time alone, time to do things that make them happy, because that's something they're going to carry on when they get older too. But you have to make sure you have that work-life balance where you have time for them, and then you have a little bit of time for League, and it works a lot better if you schedule out ahead of time, like, this is what I'm going to do when. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens for like school. I know Horace a lot of times would come into Slack and he'd be like, well, I'm going to play from these times. Or I'm doing replay reviews from these times, because he has a job in school and all these other things that he does too. So you just have to make sure that you're scheduling around it.
And on the other side of the coin, I have a lot of friends